We don't know what's gonna happen. You don't even know if she's gonna ask you to stay.
After all of Abby's abuse, kicking Peyton off the team and disrespecting me, I want to show Abby that we can.
I don't know what's gonna happen once I put out my offer to these girls.
Come on in, if you're a dancer.
The Abby Lee Dance Company, ALDC, has always been a place of high stakes, intense competition, and most importantly, drama. Over the years, Dance Moms has delivered some of the most shocking, unexpected, and jaw-dropping audition moments, proving that no one is ever truly safe at the ALDC. From surprise guest dancers to feuds that escalated faster than a pirouette, these auditions have kept fans on the edge of their seats. Let's take a deep dive into some of the most unexpected ALDC audition moments that left both the cast and the audience in absolute shock. Grab your tea, because we're about to spill every last drop. Hot beverage. Nakia Wiley's appearance at Abby Lee Miller's dance studio sent shockwaves through the competitive dance world, igniting drama, tension, and an explosion of emotions that had fans clutching their pearls. If you thought Abby's meltdowns in the past were intense, buckle up. This was a moment that left everyone talking for weeks. The backstory: who is Nakia Wiley? For those who aren't fully versed in the dance world, Nakia Wiley first rose to prominence when she appeared on Dance Moms, introduced by her outspoken mother, Kaya Wiley, also known as Black Patsy. Known for her strong opinions and no-nonsense attitude, Kaya never shied away from confrontation, making her and Nakia unforgettable figures in the show's drama-fueled history. Nakia herself was a talented dancer with strong technique, but her time on the show was short-lived due to conflicts with Abby and the other moms. The unbelievable return. Fast forward to the fateful day when Nakia Wiley made her surprise return. It all started when rumors began swirling that a familiar face would be stepping into the Abby Lee Dance Company, ALDC studio. Nobody expected it to be Nakia. The moment she walked through the door, the atmosphere changed. Audiences could practically feel the tension through their screens. Abby Lee Miller, infamous for her blunt and often cutting critiques, was caught completely off guard. The expression on her face said it all. She was stunned, and for a brief moment, there was an eerie silence before the storm hit. It was the calm before the inevitable explosion. Abby's explosive reaction. It didn't take long for Abby to let her emotions take center stage. The second she gathered her composure, she unleashed a verbal tirade that could be heard from outside the studio. "Why are you here?" she reportedly asked, her tone dripping with disbelief and frustration. It was no secret that Abby had never fully gotten along with Kaya Wiley, and seeing her daughter back in the studio reignited old feuds. Nakia, however, was prepared. Unlike before, when she was a young dancer struggling to find her place, this time she walked in with confidence, ready to prove that she had grown both as a dancer and as a person. But Abby wasn't having it. She immediately questioned Nakia's technique, work ethic, and place within ALDC. The criticism was sharp, cutting, and relentless. Kaya Wiley enters the scene. If Nakia's entrance wasn't enough to shake things up, the arrival of her mother, Kaya, turned the situation into a full-blown spectacle. The moment Kaya stepped into the room, her signature energy filled the air. "Oh, so we're still playing these little games, huh, Abby?" Kaya reportedly fired back, her voice laced with sarcasm and attitude. Abby, never one to back down from a confrontation, shot back with her own remarks, calling Kaya a loudmouth and accusing her of using her daughter as a pawn for drama. The exchange escalated quickly, with the two women yelling over each other while the other dancers and moms watched in shock. The dancers and moms' reactions. The other dancers, including some of ALDC's top talents, were visibly uncomfortable. Some whispered among themselves. Others looked on in wide-eyed disbelief. The moms, who had seen their fair share of drama, had mixed reactions. Some supported Abby's stance, while others believed Nakia deserved a second chance. One mom reportedly muttered, "This is a circus," while another commented, "If Nakia can prove herself, she should stay." Meanwhile, Nakia stood her ground, refusing to let Abby's comments shake her. "I'm here to dance, and that's exactly what I'm going to do," she declared confidently. And with that, she stepped onto the floor and began a solo routine that had jaws dropping. The show-stopping performance. Nakia's dance was nothing short of breathtaking. She showcased impeccable control, fluidity, and raw emotion, proving that she had spent years refining her skills. Even Abby, despite her initial resistance, was forced to acknowledge the talent on display. But rather than admitting defeat, Abby simply crossed her arms and coolly stated, "That was decent. But decent doesn't win." A classic Abby move, never giving full praise, always keeping dancers on their toes. The aftermath. Despite Abby's reluctance to embrace Nikaya's return, the buzz around her performance spread quickly. Fans took to social media, debating whether she deserved a permanent spot in ALDC. Many praised Nikaya for her resilience, while others criticized Abby for being too harsh and unwilling to give second chances. Meanwhile, Kaya Wiley took to Instagram Live to address the situation. "My daughter walked in there and gave them a show. Whether Abby wants to admit it or not, Nikaya is a star," she declared. She also hinted at the possibility of Nikaya exploring other dance opportunities, suggesting that ALDC might not be the right fit after all. Was it all for show? Some skeptics speculated that Nikaya's return was strategically planned for drama and ratings. Dance Moms has always thrived on conflict, and nothing gets fans talking like a heated showdown. But others believed that Nikaya genuinely wanted to prove herself and that her performance spoke louder than any argument could. Either way, Nikaya Wiley's return and Abby Lee Miller's explosive reaction made for an unforgettable moment in Dance Moms history. Whether this was just a one-time stunt or the beginning of a longer journey remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure, Nikaya left her mark, and Abby won't be forgetting this encounter anytime soon. Ava Koda's height has been a hot topic in the dance world, and when it became a problem at Abby Lee Miller's studio, the drama was unparalleled. Standing taller than most of her peers, Ava's journey on Dance Moms was riddled with challenges, insecurities, and showdowns that left fans divided. The backstory: who is Ava Koda? Ava Koda, a talented dancer with breathtaking lines and incredible flexibility, first appeared on Dance Moms as a member of the ALDC's elite team. With a mother, Jeanette Koda, who was equally passionate about dance, Ava was expected to excel. However, one thing set her apart from the other girls: her towering height. While most young dancers in Abby's studio were petite and compact, Ava was growing rapidly, and by her teenage years, she was significantly taller than her teammates. This led to constant critiques from Abby, who insisted that her height made her look awkward and prevented her from fitting in with the ALDC aesthetic. When height became a problem, the issue reached a boiling point when Abby openly questioned Ava's ability to compete. In a now infamous moment, Abby bluntly told her, "You're too tall. You don't fit in." The statement, though simple, cut deep. Fans watched in shock as Ava's face fell, the pain visible in her eyes. Jeanette, never one to hold back, immediately came to her daughter's defense. Abby, however, doubled down. "The other girls look like a team. You stand out, and not in a good way," she added. The tension in the studio was thick. The other moms whispered among themselves, some agreeing with Abby, while others felt she was being unnecessarily cruel. Ava, despite being visibly upset, remained composed, determined to prove that her height was an asset rather than a liability. The dancers' reactions. While some of the girls sympathized with Ava, others seemed relieved that they weren't the ones being targeted. Maddie Ziegler, the golden girl of ALDC, looked uncomfortable, while Kendall Verts seemed to side with Abby, nodding along as she spoke. Jojo Siwa, known for her outspoken nature, later commented in an interview that she thought Abby was being unfair. The divide was clear. Some felt Abby had a point, while others believed she was breaking a young dancer's spirit for no reason. The breaking point: Jeanette versus Abby. Jeanette Koda had been biting her tongue for long enough. In a fiery confrontation, she unleashed her frustration. "My daughter is an incredible dancer, and you're diminishing her talent because of something she can't control," she snapped at Abby. Abby, never one to back down, shot back, "This is a business, Jeanette. I can't have a dancer that doesn't fit in with my vision." That's reality. The argument escalated, with Jeanette accusing Abby of favoritism and body shaming. Abby, in turn, dismissed Jeanette as delusional and implied that Ava simply didn't have what it took to succeed at ALDC. Ava's emotional exit. Despite her undeniable talent, Ava's time at ALDC came to an abrupt end. Abby made it clear that she would not be featuring Ava in upcoming routines, leaving her with little choice but to leave. As she and Jeanette walked out, the tension in the room was palpable. Ava's departure was met with mixed reactions. Some of the moms looked saddened, while others seemed indifferent. The girls, many of whom had become close friends with Ava, struggled to process what had just happened. Life after ALDC. Leaving ALDC turned out to be a blessing in disguise for Ava. She went on to prove herself in the dance world, finding opportunities that embraced her unique physique rather than rejected it. She later appeared on So You Think You Can Dance and pursued modeling, turning what was once seen as a disadvantage into a career advantage. Jeanette, meanwhile, continued to be a vocal advocate for body positivity in dance, speaking out against the rigid standards that often exclude dancers who don't fit a specific mold. The fan backlash. Abby's treatment of Ava sparked outrage among fans. Many took to social media to express their frustration, calling Abby's comments about Ava's height disgusting and unfair. Even former Dance Mom stars weighed in, with some publicly supporting Ava. Despite the controversy, Abby remained unapologetic. In later interviews, she defended her stance, insisting that dance competitions favor uniformity and that Ava's height was a legitimate obstacle. Kalani Hilliker's audition for Dance Moms was nothing short of a game-changer. From the moment she stepped onto the stage, it was clear she wasn't just another dancer, she was a star in the making. But what really went on behind the scenes? How did this audition shake up the ALDC and send shockwaves through the dance world? Let's dive into the drama, the tension, and the jaw-dropping impact of Kalani's arrival. The backstory. Who is Kalani Hilliker? Before joining Dance Moms, Kalani Hilliker was already a rising star in the competitive dance scene. Trained in multiple styles and known for her graceful technique and effortless performance quality, she had already made a name for herself on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, AUDC. It was on that show where she first caught the eye of the ever-critical Abby Lee Miller, who saw immense potential in the young dancer. Kalani's connection to Dance Moms wasn't immediate, though. After her time on AUDC, she continued training and competing at the highest levels. But when the ALDC found itself in need of fresh talent, an opportunity presented itself that would change everything, not just for Kalani, but for the entire Dance Moms landscape. The audition that shook everything. When word got out that ALDC was holding auditions for new talent, Kalani's name was already on people's lips. Abby, known for her tough standards, was on the lookout for someone who could match the technical prowess of Maddie, the reigning star of the team. The pressure was on. As soon as Kalani walked into the studio, the tension was thick. The ALDC girls, who had already established their hierarchy, weren't thrilled at the idea of a new dancer joining their ranks, especially one as talented as Kalani. Their mothers, always eager to protect their daughters' positions, were even more on edge. Then came the moment everyone had been waiting for, Kalani's audition solo. The performance that left Abby speechless. Dressed in a stunning costume, Kalani took center stage and delivered a performance that could only be described as mesmerizing. Her control, her extensions, her fluidity, it was all flawless. As she moved across the floor, it became evident that she wasn't just another competitor. She was a contender. When the music stopped, there was a moment of silence. Abby, rarely one to be at a loss for words, simply stared. And then, in a rare moment of unfiltered praise, she uttered the words that would change everything. That was perfection. The moms' reactions. Pure chaos. If Abby was impressed, the other moms were furious. Jill Verts, Kendall's outspoken mother, was the first to express her outrage. So what? She comes in here for one day and suddenly she's the next Maddie, she scoffed. Melissa Gisoni, Maddie's mom, remained quiet but visibly uneasy. While she supported Kalani, she also knew that her daughter's position as Abby's favorite could now be at risk. Kira Gerard, Kalani's mother, wasn't about to let the other moms intimidate her daughter. She fired back at Jill, insisting that Kalani had earned her place fair and square. The studio quickly descended into a shouting match, with accusations flying left and right. It was classic Dance Moms chaos. The girls' reactions. Mixed emotions. While the moms were busy arguing, the The dancers themselves were experiencing a whirlwind of emotions. Some, like Maddie, admired Kalani's talent and saw her as a strong addition to the team. Others, like Kendall and Nia, weren't so sure. They had worked tirelessly to secure their spots at ALDC, and the idea of someone swooping in and stealing the spotlight wasn't exactly thrilling. Jojo Siwa, always one to voice her opinions, later admitted in interviews that she felt Kalani's entrance shifted the dynamics of the team in a way that some dancers struggled to adjust to. Abby's decision, a shock to everyone. After much deliberation and plenty of behind-the-scenes drama, Abby made her announcement. "Kalani is staying," she declared. "She's the future of ALDC." The room exploded. Some cheered, some groaned, and some stormed out. Jill, in particular, was furious, feeling that her daughter Kendall had once again been pushed aside. "This is ridiculous," she shouted before storming off. Meanwhile, Kalani remained poised, understanding that while she had won over Abby, she still had a long way to go before she won over the rest of the team. The aftermath. A divided team. Kalani's addition to ALDC didn't just ruffle feathers, it tore the team apart. Over the following weeks, tensions ran high. Every group dance felt like a competition, with the girls subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, fighting for Abby's approval. The rivalry between Kalani and Kendall, in particular, became a focal point of the season. At one point, Kendall even confronted Kalani directly, asking, "Do you even care about this team, or are you just here for yourself?" Kalani, ever the professional, simply replied, "I'm here to dance." That's it. The fan reaction, love or hate. Outside the studio, fans were just as divided. Some viewers saw Kalani as a breath of fresh air, someone who could challenge Maddie's reign and elevate the competition. Others, however, felt she had been given an unfair advantage, walking into a team that had already spent years fighting for their spots. Social media exploded with debates, with hashtags like #TeamKalani and #NotMeALDC trending for weeks. Kalani's long-term impact. Despite the initial backlash, Kalani's presence at ALDC was undeniable. She proved herself time and time again, delivering breathtaking performances and becoming a staple of the team. Over time, even the most resistant members of the ALDC grew to respect her talent and dedication. But what really solidified Kalani's legacy was the way she handled the pressure. Unlike some dancers who crumbled under Abby's harsh critiques, Kalani remained graceful, composed, and focused on her craft. The legacy of that audition. Looking back, Kalani Hilliker's audition was more than just a routine. It was a turning point. It reshaped the dynamics of Dance Moms, forced other dancers to step up their game, and proved that sometimes a single moment can change everything. Today, Kalani has continued to build a successful career in dance, modeling, and social media. But no matter how far she goes, one thing remains certain. That audition will forever be remembered as the moment she made Dance Moms history. And for those who doubted her, well, Kalani let her talent do the talking.